Hey, it's Sonia. Today I'm going to talk about how to sit straight up. So you have your sit bones, these butt bones that we feel on our butt when we sit. And what I'd like you to do is just kind of rock forward a little to feel you go in front of the sit bones and then to come and rock back a little. And you're just trying to not go very big necessarily, but you're just trying to explore the sit bones and what's forward and back. So that way if I were to ask you to come and sit on them, then that's going to be the base of your neutral. So if I were to sit on the floor, I might get in my hip flexors too much. So that's why I just have a little step that I'm sitting on, so then I can be out of my hip flexors and sit here kind of nice. You can also do this sitting on a chair. So you're on your sit bones. You have your arch. Everyone should have a little bit of an arch. Some are flat, some are more arched. But then you want to try to get your shoulder. So if your plumb line was ideal and you dropped a string from the ceiling, it should go through the ear to the middle of the shoulder to the middle of the hip bone here. So sometimes people lean forward a little bit, sometimes people slouch. So you want to try to be upright, have your head upright. Yep, and so your ribs are going to be in, they're not going to be arched. You kind of want to pull them back, have the shoulders back a little bit with your chest lifted just a little bit. So you want to try to use the upper back muscles and not the lower back. What I find is when I'm neutral, I use my abdominals a little bit more. My hip flexors might want to get work, but I have to be mindful about keeping it in my abs. So another thing that you could do from this position is you want your legs to be straight. Mine are a little tight with the hamstrings. So my hamstrings are tight, so then a good stretch is you want to move from here. So I'm going to use my arms enough to help me be up taller. And I want to move from my sit bones. You can't see my sit bones right now, but my spine's staying straight. My sit bones are reaching out, and as my shoulders come forward, it's because this whole line, and it's from my sit bones reaching out away. Yep, and while I do that, I can feel that one of my legs wants to turn out, and one of them wants to tense up more, so be aware of this parallel hip distance. My feet aren't all that flexed, they are just kind of a neutral as I kind of pull forward and hinge from here, and then you're just going to do a little roll through the lower belly and then come up to a straight line. Yep, and then hinge forward from here. It's not how far you go. So I'm using my arms to be my hip flexors. And then, so I don't use my hip flexors, so I use my abdominals and my hamstrings more, and then tuck and curl and roll back. And then upright, and then hinge forward, keeping your head in line so it's not forward, it's not back. Yep, hinge forward from here. If you go further and you start to round, then you're in your back. You want to keep it flat and try to move through the hamstrings, just kind of teaching your spine to just be your spine, but then to move from your glutes and your hamstrings. Let's just do one more. Inhale, and then exhale, and come and roll back. Thanks.